So now we come to the backbench debate on the future of the UK space industry. And I call to move the motion the man in the iron brew mask, Owen Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm delighted to have secured this important debate today, and I do thank the Backbench Business Committee for allocating the time for us to consider such an important topic. I think we all need good news stories in these difficult times, and I believe that the growing space industry, with timely and sensible support from government, could quite literally provide a rocket boost to the economy and be a force for good for the country and for the planet. Space is one of the UK's fastest growing sectors, trebling in size since 2010. It will inspire the next generation and provide fantastic opportunities in science, engineering and technology. It's huge potential for the levelling up agenda, creating highly skilled jobs right across the UK, from Shetland to the south east of England. And I can also play a crucial role in measuring and meeting climate change targets. I welcome the fact that space has been recognised as a critical national infrastructure. We now depend on space for navigation, communication, broadcasting, running public services, and increasingly for national security. It impacts all of our everyday lives and has the potential to really enhance them. So while I'm delighted that there's a recognition of the scale of the potential for space, there does need to be a better coordinated and determined effort to support the industry to reach their goals. And I look forward to greater detail on that from the Minister later today. Space is already a growing success story and supports 41,900 jobs in 13 of the regions and nations of the UK, bringing in some £14.8 billion in 2016-17. The Scottish space industry also punches well above its weight and is home to almost a fifth of the total jobs in the UK sector, valued at £880 million in 2017-18. And Scotland now hosts more than 130 space organisations, including the headquarters of 83 UK space firms. We now need to build on the strong base to be a globally competitive at every stage of the process, from design and manufacture for smaller satellites through to the launch and the interpretation and application of satellite data produced. We have a unique selling points and we're making great progress. Glasgow is now a European capital for manufacturing small satellites, building more than any other country or any other place outside California.
Thank my friend for giving me congratulate him on securing the debate. And he's absolutely right about the importance of the space industry and the significance it has to Glasgow's economy. And research around the space sector is hugely important as well. The University of Glasgow, and Madam Deputy Speaker, I was sporting a University of Glasgow mask, much as my honourable friend was supporting an Iron Brew mask. Played a huge part. The University of Glasgow played a huge part in the identification of gravitational waves, for example, which is helping our understanding of the universe as well as driving forward technological developments.
Thanks. I think my honourable friend is absolutely right. The importance of using the data that we can gather from space in so many different ways can contribute to so much that we can take forward. Innovation companies such as ACC Clyde Space and Aspire Global and Alba Orbital are already driving this world-class agenda. And we're leading the way in rocket development in Europe through firms like Skyrora in my own Midlothian constituency and Orbex in Forres. We're making progress in the research and analysis side of the industry, and companies like Ecometrica, Carbomap and Space Intelligence are helping move Edinburgh towards becoming a space data capital of Europe. Edinburgh is the only place in the world to work with a NASA robot, the Valkyrie, outside of its headquarters. Key industry players like Ukrainian-born Skyrora boss Vladimir Levikin tell me that they moved here because of the connections, the skilled workforce and the suitability of it as a place to live. Scotland is developing an ecosystem around the space industry, and the more an ecosystem develops, the more it triggers further exponential growth. The Scottish Government was therefore right to identify space as a key priority for future growth, and their support has helped give the burgeoning young industry a shape and structure, with the ambition to be Europe's leading space nation and capture a £4 billion share of global space market by 2030. The Scottish Space Leadership Council has helped to bring together key figures from public and private sector to make sure their views are represented at all levels of government and to drive a growth and collaboration. But we need coordination across all levels of government, and a space strategy is something that has often been promised, but something that we're still waiting to see delivered. And I'm sure those watching the debate today will be as keen as I am to hear what the Minister has to say on that front. To take things forward, we need to get low-cost access to space from UK soil. And it's good news that 7 UK spaceport sites are working together through the Spaceport Alliance to support launch activity. It's also good news that Space Hub, to be built in Sutherland's Vonya Peninsula, gained planning permission last year. With locational advantages for flight path and access to orbits that 95% of small satellite launches require, this is now set to be a national centre for vertical launch and could support 400 jobs in the Highlands and Islands by 2025. Yet getting the regulations in place seems to be more like moving through a treacle at times than rocketing our way into a new space future. There's a need to get the regulations to permit rocket launches, to get clarity about how the system will work, and to get it right. The framework was set up in the Space Industry Act in 2018, but still not in place, and we still await the outcome of the consultation process. When we do hear the results, I certainly hope that the Government has listened very carefully to industry voices and taken their concerns on board. So far, there's been a lot of dither and interdepartmental confusion and, unfortunately, a lack of determined leadership from the Government on these regulatory issues. I would be tempted, perhaps, Madam Deputy Speaker, to suggest a rocket somewhere might be helpful, but I shall resist. But it's not always clear who's in the driving seat, if anyone. We cannot jeopardise the achievements of an innovative homegrown industry by letting it drift and losing out launch capability to our neighbouring nations. The Minister will be aware that a real threat of international competition to UK launch business. One of our homegrown companies, Skyrora, already tested a rocket with a 26-kilometre altitude, but they had to do so from Iceland, where the regulations were taken forward with all of the essential safety aspects, but they did it more quickly and far more favourably than has been managed here. The concern is that the licence application process for launch will take far too long to process, resulting in the industry being uncompetitive. And in our response today, I hope the Minister can assure the House that the space industry that there is a development strategy in place that embraces all parts of the industry and is a clear imperative around which the Government and the regulators in the industry can coalesce to ensure the full potential of space ambition. Despite not having homegrown regulations sorted, I was slightly concerned that the Government were so happy and keen to sign the Transatlantic Technology Safeguard Agreement to enable US launches from UK soil, potentially to the detriment of the industry here. The TSA was signed last June and announced by press release, but the text wasn't made public until October. Many industry players in the UK say they did not have a chance to read and comment on the plans until that point and had not been consulted on the details, nor was there an opportunity for questions or debate in this place. Despite a promise in response to written questions I submitted that there would be. It might turn out that this is a benign agreement as the UK Government has claimed, but there has been no process to scrutinise it, and aspects certainly raise concern that the UK start-ups could be ousted for big US-based corporate players. The Government must do more to allay industry fears that it could transpire to be an exclusivity agreement, and it must reassure the industry that it understands and is sensitive to the commercial context these companies operate in. The industry remains in the dark about how the agreement will actually function in practice, and will only see its impact once it starts to acquire export licences. This kind of scenario testing should have been conducted openly and transparently beforehand. Now, some might question why we're talking about space here at all in the midst of a public health emergency. People can't feed their families. But it shapes all of our lives. It helps keep us safe, and it's precisely the sort of high-skilled growth industry that we need to support and drive the economy to recover. There's also a responsibility, the green role to which could be carved out by the space industry, which the Scottish Government is certainly very keen to pursue. Space is central to tackling environmental and social justice issues around the globe. Forget the outdated image of a space race, with astronauts boldly going where no one has gone before. The future will be very much focused on making things better than where we are now. Data from satellite plays a crucial role in the fight against climate change and finding solutions for major issues that scar our planet. 35 of the 45 essential climate variables defined by the UN are measured from space. Similarly, of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations with an aim of ending poverty by 2030, satellite data plays a critical role in 13 of them. Data from Earth observation satellites was used to combat wildfire spread in the Amazon. It's been used to monitor glacier melt and air pollutants, to aid disaster relief operations and to measure ozone damage, to measure damage from natural disasters like the Fuego volcano, and to track and predict malaria outbreaks and to tackle illegal deforestation or pirate fishing vessels. It's great to see Scotland leading the way in this, and satellites built and launched in Scotland can monitor the environment in ways not previously possible, including mapping global carbon levels. Glasgow and Strathclyde universities focus on this work with their innovative districts. I welcome plans for the new £5 million satellite centre involving the universities of Edinburgh and Leeds, which will use cutting-edge satellite technology to help combat climate change, including helping to lower the risk of people being affected by flooding. Rocket launches don't exactly have a responsibility for being green, but the new space industry must be an environmentally responsible one. Efforts must be made to reduce harmful emissions at launches, and I'd like to see a role for environmental regulators such as SEPA in regulating spaceflight. The good news is that modern micro-launches are being developed a world away from the traditional massive gas-guzzling old ones. Orbex, for example, built a micro-launcher fuelled by biopropane, which produces 90% fewer emissions than standard kerosene. And Skyrora has successfully tested a fuel called Ecosene, created from plastic waste, which has successfully been tested and that would have otherwise have gone to landfill. In conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, the UK space industry is a massively positive story, but to ensure a happy ending, the Government must give clarity on its long-term strategic goals, must sort out the regulations with urgency and improve the level of scrutiny and consultation in its agreements, show an understanding of the sensitivity to market forces, and show an ambition in harnessing space potential in boosting our post-COVID recovery and tackling climate crisis. We're at the edge of a vast universe of possibilities for the space sector, so it's vital now that the Government provides the necessary vision, energy and direction to propel us forward.
Yeah.